Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Christian and this is CXC Beauty. So today I am doing the how to edit like a beauty guru video. I'm going to try my best to walk you through on how I edit a video or different categories in editing that I feel like would help you out a little bit. Now keep in mind that I use a specific software. It's called Final Cut Pro. So if you don't have Final Cut Pro, it's not going to be exactly the same. But this is how I edit my videos on Final Cut Pro. It's the easiest for me to explain to you and kind of show you things around. So if you'd like to learn how I edit my videos or how a beauty guru would edit their videos, keep on watching. But before you go anywhere, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, ring that notification bell so you don't miss out any videos. And if you like my video, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. I would greatly appreciate it. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Okay guys, so this is Final Cut Pro, and then I've already imported my footage just to save some time, but I did want to show you how to start like a new file. So the first thing I do when I go into Final Cut Pro is I go to new and I make a new project. It's going to ask you for your project name and you can put how to edit. Okay, so this is where you select your format. So I always do 1080p because I do record in 4K, and that gives me more room to play with footage, crop it in, move things around without losing any quality. So and I always export for YouTube at 1080p anyway because I always choose 1080p, and then I always render in Apple ProRes. That way, if you later want to save your file, you don't have to compress it and then decompress it when you want to edit again. I just leave it in Apple ProRes. And then I never mess with the audio because I really don't know too much about that. And then I hit OK, and then that starts the new file. Since I already did it before, it already exists. Okay, so then when you're going to go import your footage, you hit this little arrow right here. And you select your files and then hit Import All. I always import without creating optimized media or proxy media, because I like the original format it was shot in. Okay, so here we have our clips. And then sometimes they're out of order for some reason, I don't know. But I usually go by the numbers or what I want to edit first. And in this case, I want to edit the beginning montage first, which is going to be like the more artistic thing. When I do slow-mo or any kind of like artistic shooting like this, I do shoot at 120 frames per second. And that's going to give me the ability to slow down the clip without the clip getting choppy. So the more frames you have to work with, the slower you can slow down your clip. So this is like the footage that I took for the beginning. And then on this first step, I'm just going to show you how to cut it. So what I like to do is I import all my clips and I kind of skim through them. And the reason I leave the entire clip is because there's so many things that you can capture for kind of like this kind of beginning sequence. It could be like a glance or like a certain way I turn my head. So I do want the full clip on my timeline, and then I skim through it, and then I just check to see which are the looks I really like, and then like this right here where I turn my head. It starts here, and then I'll put the line over it and hit Command B. So that cut the clip, and I'll cut it there. So now you have your clip here. I'm going to drag that all the way to the front, and that's how I cut a clip. So I'm going to go through this entire thing, and I'm going to be cutting and moving clips, and that's going to create kind of like the montage. Now I'm not going to play the song while on here because I don't want it to interfere with the audio, but when I do my first cut, I always then go and import my song. So you can get music from many different places. Just make sure it's DRM free or like copyright free, because if not, YouTube will flag for your video for copyright. I use the service called Epidemic Sound, and they have a bunch of different tracks that you can use for your videos and stuff. You just pay like a subscription fee. So I'm rambling. After I cut the first clip, I always bring in my song. It's going to anchor to that first clip. So if I delete anything after this, the audio track won't accidentally get deleted. So I have my audio track in here just to know the flow of the music, kind of where the beats are, and that way you can make cuts depending on the beats. Uploaded my song or imported my song. I go ahead and make all my cuts going to the beat, and then that's where I get all those kind of transitions that are really cool, and the video flows together. But for this video, I'm going to take the audio out so you can hear what I'm saying. Okay, so I've shown you guys how to cut and then also add your song and cut, so that way you can cut to the song. I'm going to show you how to make the actual clip slow motion now. So that first clip we cut, I want to make it slow. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight the clip, and then there's a little speedometer here. And I'm going to click that and go to custom. And then you can choose whatever. Sometimes I like to slow these clips down to like 60%. You can do it like that. Or you could also click this automatic, and it will change the speed of your clip depending on your frame rate. So I shot at 120 frames per second, so then automatically slowed it down to the slowest it can go on 24 frames per second without getting choppy. And that would be 20%. But if you play this back and you're going only at 20% speed, people are going to lose a lot of interest really quickly because they're just basically seeing you move in ultra slow motion. So for like a clip like this, I'll generally go custom 60% speed, 60 or 70, and then you can see how that is. See, that's a little quicker. You can get through the clip fast but still have that cool slow motion, but people won't get bored. So moving on, I'm going to show you how to do another cool slow motion trick. And this works better with something with a lot of movement. So like this clip right here that has quite a bit of movement, I'm going to start it right here, and I'm going to end it about there. So what I'm going to show you is called speed ramping. So I'm going to select the entire clip. Okay, so now we've selected the clip, and this is something I want to show you in slow motion that gives a little bit something a little bit more interesting, and it's kind of cool, so I like to do it. So first I'm going to take the clip and I'm going to go ahead and slow it down. So I'm going to go custom. It will slow it down to about 50% speed. And then what we're going to do is we're going to cut in some fast motion into this. And basically speed ramping is the clip changing from quick speed to slow speed to quick, like slow, fast, and it gives a really cool like look to the whole clip. I'm going to hit R, which is the range selection tool, and I'm going to select the beginning part of this clip to about there, and I'm going to hit Shift N. So that's going to change it to normal speed, but we don't want it normal speed. We're going to go here to the little speedometer and make it 4 times fast, and then we're going to do several cuts. So we're going to select a new piece, and we're going to make that custom. Oh, not custom. So we're going to select that, and we're going to make that fast, 4 times speed, and then we're going to do it at the end. Now that we've chopped it up to where you have your slow-mo and fast-mo. Fast-mo? What's a fast-mo, babe?
I'm a fast-mo.
Okay, so once we've selected where we want our fast and our slow clips, we're going to go in between and make it a little smoother. So you can also change the speed of the clip. I think actually this is more suited to around 250%. Not as fast. And then, okay, so that'll give you a smoother transition. But if you want smoother than that, you can click these little black bars and then hit Edit Source Frame. And you can pull it to where you want slower or faster, more slow, more fast. And that will give you a smoother transition into the slow-mo to the fast. So that's how you can control how smooth your speed ramping is. And then speed ramping overall is like a nice creative tool that you can use. It just gives a really cool effect and keeps the interest in the audience. I know that was kind of all over the place, but I hope that helped a little bit. Okay, so that's how I do my artistic sort of intros. Now I want to show you a little bit. I'm going to go down here and I'm going to bring in a clip. I'm going to show you how I edit my actual tutorials. So this is how I edit really fast. I don't know if other creators do this technique, but if you see down here, you're going to see the different levels of audio. So here there's no sound, and then you can see where the waveforms are higher is where I start talking. So automatically I know this whole entire front part, I don't say anything, so I can just go ahead and cut that out. Then,
okay, everyone,
this is where I start.
Guess what kind of lashes I used.
So I just listen to myself speak, and if there's any mistake, I'll go in close, and you see the waveforms. You can go ahead, Command B, cut it, and then Command B, cut it, and you just delete. And that's how you get rid of any kind of, like when I say all the time, any of that. So that's how you cut and edit things. And another thing I wanted to show you was somewhere where I'm applying eyeshadow. So when I edit my videos, let's say I say, okay, I'm gonna go in with a certain shade. If you look from here to here, so where I'm dragging the red line from here to here, that is a big gap of blending. So if I let this play through an entire video and just as if it was real time, the video would be 3 hours long. So what I do for these sections is I'll go to where I start the blending. So when I start applying the shadow, and usually I won't be talking. I don't want to speed any part up where I'm actually talking. And I'll cut the clip. So I'll hit Command B, Command B. So this entire part of blending, since we want it to go faster, we're gonna go select the clip and then to the little speedometer and do fast motion. That way it cuts it down severely. I mean, you don't have to do it 8 times the speed. I'm just, I usually do 2 times the speed because if not, it gets really crazy. So you can do it according to how you'd want it. But that's how I speed up when I do blending, and it takes me a long time. And then that way you guys know what to do, but you can also move on to the next step if you'd like. So next, what I want to show you, now that I've shown you how to cut, and show you how I color grade my footage. So as you can see, my tutorial in this clip looks gray and very muted. And that is because I record my videos in S-Log. It is a flat picture profile on your camera. Sony cameras, it's called S-Log, but all cameras are different. I'm not sure. I know Canon's is C-Log, but it's basically a flat picture profile. In depth about that, I do know a little bit, but if you look on YouTube, there's so many great videos on S-Log, C-Log, and shooting in flat profiles. So if I select the clip and then I go down here to this little squares effects, I go down to colors, and then I go to color wheels, and I just drag this over. So what color wheels is going to allow me to do is I'm going to basically bring back the colors that are eliminated in the flat picture profile. So what I do is I always take the master saturation and I bring it all the way up. So that makes my skin tone look more natural. But we still look pretty flat because there's no shadows and highlights. It's all flat. So what I do is I take the shadows and I go to the exposure side. This is the color side and this is the exposure side. And then I bring that down. So I bring back the shadows. As you can see now, it's starting to look a little bit more normal. And then naturally with the lights in the room, there's going to be highlights. So then I go over here to highlights to the exposure side and I bring the highlights slightly up. So now that looks like an actual clip.
And I'm taking
those true to life colors in my videos and the best quality with colors. Okay, movingon.com. Another thing I wanted to show you quickly is how I overlay my logo. So usually you'll see at the end of the video when I say bye or turn off the camera, like right here. So I'm about to turn the camera off right here, but just pretend it's saying, okay guys, bye. And then there's this black space here. So what I do is I'll import my logo and just make sure it's a PNG file. So for this video, I did a custom logo and it's a PNG file, and I did that on Photoshop. So I'm gonna import that. And it being a PNG with a transparent background, I can overlay it on top of my video. So when I drag it up here, when you see, it's gonna, when I start the video, you'll see it's gonna overlay on top of the video.
I'm gonna stop it real quick.
So that's how I get my logo onto the video. Now, if you do notice though, when the logo comes up, it's like a static, like all of a sudden pops up. Now the way I make that transition with a blur is I go over to here to transitions and I go to cross dissolve and then I just drag it onto that clip. So what cross dissolve does is it's gonna make, when the logo appears, it's gonna slowly come into frame. So instead of just popping up, it's just gonna slowly come in. And then same thing when the words are about to leave the frame, it slowly goes out. I'm gonna teach you something with audio. So I showed you how to import your song before. I'm gonna show you again. I'm just gonna drop a song right here. This is a good place to do it because there's difference in audio. So whenever you're doing a beauty clip, I usually put music in the beginning. So we're gonna pretend like this is the beginning, the audio clip, and I'm gonna hit R. So I'm gonna do select. So, oh, it selected the whole thing. So a little bit before where I started talking to the rest of the clip. And we're just gonna adjust the audio on this side. And I usually take it down to between -27 decibels and 30 for when I start talking. So I'm gonna take it down and you can change the value up here too. I'm gonna do -27. So the reason I did that reselect the clip is because if you see these little white dots, it's basically transitioning the sound into the lower volume. Instead of just cutting the sound down or cutting the sound off, it's gonna give you a smooth transition to where you have to talk. So really quickly, I'm just gonna play it for you. And here's where the sound starts going down. Gradually, gradually, gradually. And then I start talking. You can even put the volume a little bit lower because that is still a little bit high. So you can manipulate it. I would go down to starting the dip at 22. So now it's going to go from the 0 and it's going to dip all the way down to 22 in that little dip. And then by the time it's done dipping, I'm talking, the song has transitioned nicely, and it just makes it a lot more professional, and those little attention to details are really important. Okay everyone, so I hope you enjoyed my how to edit video. I know it was a little bit all over the place, but that's just how my brain works. Let me know what you guys thought of this video in the comments below. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. If you like this style of video, give my video a thumbs up. I would greatly appreciate it. And don't forget to ring that notification bell so you never miss a video. I had a great time with you guys today in this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.